All right, so let's shift gears a little bit because after a federal jury found Dzhokhar Tsarnaev guilty on all 30 counts of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, that same jury now has to decide whether he deserves to live or die. And, well, what's even scarier is the thought that there could even be more terrorists like him hiding right here in America. We know a lot more. Almost every week we hear a story of homegrown terrorists or would-be terrorists right in our own backyard. So I'll go back to you on this, Jesse, start with you. The decision with Tsarnaev to live or die, could that actually spark even or hasten the development of homegrown terrorism? In other words, could there be people right now on the edge of their seats who have a lot of sympathy for this guy, he gets a death penalty, and then they take up the cause?
I don't think fear should control any decision that we make, because that's why we're exactly in the position we're in. We've been so soft-shoeing around in our foreign policy, and if we better set an example. Don't worry about him thinking he's going to go to paradise. Let him go to his version of paradise. We need to send a signal out that this isn't going to be tolerated on our shores. Men and women like myself go overseas to fight these wars. He brought it here. Let's show him it's not going to be tolerated.
Look, let me tell you what ought to happen. You got the Boston Globe out there saying that what happened there did not meet the level, did not rise to the level of a crime where you can be executed. Here's what I think they ought to do. They ought to strap a backpack with one of those pressure cookers to this guy, stick him out in the middle of the field and set a timer and watch him go off.
Well, that's one way to look at it. I said, but look, the thing is, it's not that we want to make an example, but they're trying to say that he's this kid and he's just following his brother. Nobody is buying that, and these jurors know that too, and they know that because it's a federal case that the death penalty is out there. And what we don't want, we don't have people there. You know, most people, if they're against the death penalty, they do it across the board for moral, ethical, religious reasons or whatever. Or there's this reasonable doubt. There is no doubt here. He did this. He is a grown man. There's no reason for him not to get the death penalty, unless it's, they had these teenage girls that all liked him and they were sending him email messages.
Well, I don't know, maybe after Rolling Stone tried to make him some sort of a rock star.
Right.
But back to Todd's point, boy, was I surprised to see that Boston Globe editorial. And I'll tell you why. It would be perfectly fine if they had couched it in terms of a general disagreement, with the theory, penological theory of the death penalty. No, no, no. They said he was less involved. He was corrupted by his brother. I could not believe they put that in the editorial.
He was, of the 30 counts, 17 carried a death penalty. So that right there tells you, I mean, if anyone's qualified for the death penalty. But you're a very successul attorney. You know, his attorney, Susan Smith, has an amazing track record of keeping the most vile murderers in the world off of death row.
I don't have a crystal ball, but I think she may have run out of her winning streak. No, in the sense that you're right. I mean, Ted Kaczynski, my God, it was terrible. Mailing bombs, disfiguring people. And
well,
she
Susan
did spare.
Smith, she drowned her own kids.
No, you're right. But I mean, in this particular case, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I just think he's the poster boy for this punishment. I'm sorry.
And guys, what, 49 states, they're looking at possible terrorists, activity, 49 states. Frightening stuff. I think we have to set an example here.
Elizabeth Warren also chimed in and said he shouldn't get the death penalty as well. And maybe it's something in the water, but could you imagine, I would like to hear the voices of regular Bostonians who don't have a platform, because I would be shocked if, despite the fact that in general they don't necessarily, aren't for the death penalty on a normal region.
He blew up an 8-year-old child.
Yes.
An 8-year-old child.
And he said it was against what the U.S. was doing to the Muslims overseas.
That's right.
And now it's like he's made it a political statement.
Did anyone hear what his mother said today?
No.
Oh, my God.
Americans?
Yeah. His mom said, America is the terrorist, and everyone knows it.
Jeez.
My son is the best of the best. I embrace everyone, and thank you.
And they came here.
They came here on a tourist visa. Once they got here, then they claimed that, well, we're Chechens and we would get harmed if we go back home. We made them permanent citizens here. We gave him everything. He was going to university, and this is the repayment. Obviously, this starts at home. Todd, does this help us get around the idea that we can't be more forceful with respect to surveillance because you're called a racist and things like that? If someone would have singled out his family and said, we want to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, look, I never have gotten this whole profiling thing. Look, if you've got a certain demographic of the population that's committing a majority of the crimes, you got to go after those folks. You got to take a look at them. Otherwise, we're really not safe. And I think that's the big issue here. When they're pulling grandmothers and 4-year-olds out of the line at the airport to pat them down, that does not make us safer.
Right. And of course, the mosque that he attended, I think there has a long track record of people that either were kicked out of the country, even apparently even kicked out of the mosque. They were so extreme. Let's leave it right there, guys.